Hello to the nation, DrPlaystationNation here to talk to you guys over a little bit of a PC build. There's two people to thank before I kind of get started talking about this. Noah Craft for the win, who told me that I should do something like this. He really suggested this video topic, and I said, hey, why the hell not? I know enough about computers, why not talk about them in my channel? Something I really enjoy, so why not talk about it? The second person is Pocket Island. Both of these guys' links will be in the description. Pocket Island, who really helped me cut this PC build down. It's a $1,000 budget PC. I cut it down from $1,100 to $999.66, which is really cutting the line close, and then after mail and rebates it's like $960. So he's the one guy that got it cut down almost $100, which is great. And really helped out, really made it much cheaper for you guys. So thank you to those people. You guys can go check them out if you guys already don't know about them. Anyway, moving on to the next part, which is going to be the actual video. Yay! So anyway, this video is going to be divided up into three parts. The first part being where I talk about the list, the list of parts that are going to be in this computer. The second part talking about specifically like stuff like the processor, the GPU, the power supplies, different things like that. Talking about why I decided to go with those parts opposed to other ones, because really I want to educate people in this video. I don't want to just say, get these parts and you get this performance. Like, I want to kind of teach you guys, get you guys educated as to what parts you should be buying and what they benefit you in. And you guys can suggest video topics, like whether I should talk about like models of GPUs and what you should expect from them, as well as models of CPUs and different stuff. If you guys would like to see that, comment below. So I'm going to talk about that in the second part, and the third part being a wrap up what you should expect from this CPU. This computer, what is it good for? What type of person would want a computer like this? Asterisk, it is a gaming computer, like the title would suggest. So it is a gaming computer. It's really made for gamers. If you do other like Freddy W style stuff, then you will be able to use it too. It's going to get you good performance, but you might be more interested in getting a computer specifically for what you need, like multitasking and all that stuff. So anyway, now that we've got past that, let's start with the parts list. We're going to start with the CPU, which is an i5 2500K 3.3 GHz stock speed. It's a quad-core processor, and it's Sandy Bridge architecture, so it is a little bit old, but it's still a great processor, and it's only $200. Second part is the GPU. For $300, we're getting a Twin Frozr III 560 Ti 448-core 1.25 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM. It's 320-bit, meaning that it is kind of ahead of the curve here. Lots of cards today are 256-bit, which smaller number means smaller ability to move packages, so you move your packages slower. So this is really great for good quality gaming, good performance level gaming for especially like a 1080p monitor and stuff like that. Moving on from there, we're going to be talking about the motherboards, and the motherboard for this PC is going to be a Z68 chipset. It is a Asrock Extreme 3 Gen 3. It's an ATX motherboard, really good features, really good build quality, and if I may say so myself, pretty damn sexy to look at. You always need that in your motherboard. You don't want that freaking neon blue motherboard that just looks like shit. This is a really nice looking motherboard, really nice PCB, and anyway, moving on from there, we're going to be talking about the drives, guys. So it wasn't too long ago where you couldn't have an SSD for a $1,000 budget PC. They were just too expensive. You need to go up to like the $1,200, $1,500 bracket in order to get a good size SSD. For this build though, because they're dropping really fast, for this build though, we got the blessing of being able to have a 120 gigabyte SSD. It's an OCZ brand SSD, really good fast speeds. You're going to be using this as your boot drive, so you can boot up in crazy fast times, like 20 seconds or something like that. And you're going to get great performance out of it. Obviously, it's going to be a great drive, it's going to be your boot drive and whatnot, but you can't keep everything on this 120 gigabyte drive. It's also $100 if you guys want to know. So you're going to keep all your media on your secondary drive, which is the Seagate Barracuda 7200 RPM 1 terabyte drive. 7200 RPM is really the standard for a boot drive nowadays. Like usually for a media drive you want something like 5000 RPM, but this being a 7200 RPM, you're going to get great performance when you're watching like high quality movies and stuff like that, or whatever you really want. Because of 7200 RPM, if you guys are recording videos and stuff like that, it'll benefit you there because your fraps can record faster and whatnot. So moving past that, those are your drives. We got the RAM next. The RAM is going to be a Skrill Ripjaws RAM. It's 1600 megahertz frequency, if that is at all important to you. But more important than that to me, it looks pretty damn sexy. It's got a nice little heatsink on there. It looks really nice and high-tech and gaming-ish. So you guys can go with that. It's 2 DIMMs, guys, 2 4 gigabyte DIMMs, so you do have 2 DIMMs that are unpopulated in your computer, so you can upgrade, say 6 months down the road, you want 8 more gigabytes of RAM, you get 2 more 4 gigabyte DIMMs. Say you want 16 more gigabytes of RAM, get 2 8 gigabyte DIMMs. Moving on again from there, we got the last two things actually, the power supply and the case. So the power supply for this is going to be the 600 watt OCZ Modular power supply. It's under $100 and it's 80 plus certified, so you're going to get some good performance out there, you're going to get some good clean power for that processor of yours, and that's really important in a good gaming level PC, especially if you're looking to overclock. We're going for a case. Across the board, usually gamers go with an Antec 302 when they're looking to get a cheap, good featured case. Usually it's kind of a pattern where there's three things in a case: cheap, features, and looking nice. You can only get two of those three things. You can get look nice and be cheap but no features. Features and cheap but doesn't look nice. You can get cheap and features, or sorry, features and looks nice, but it's not going to be cheap. There's a lot of different variations of different cases, but this is one of those, like, it's like a unicorn. Like, the 302 is just one case that has features, it looks pretty nice, and it's cheap. The only downside is it's white on the inside. It's got a good CPU cutout though, 6 drive bays for 3.5-inch drives, and it's also got 6 drive bays for 3.5-inch drives. Yeah, and then it's got 3 5.25-inch bays. So lots of ability to customize and add your own stuff. Moving on from there, moving on to the second part, we're going to be talking about why I picked those parts. So, talking about the i5 processor, the reason why I went with an i5 Sandy Bridge 2500K was specifically because being a Sandy Bridge processor versus an Ivy Bridge have been having a lot of problems with overheating, meaning that you can't overclock as much. With an Ivy Bridge, if you overclock, it gets crazy hot, crazy fast. And if you go with a Sandy Bridge, you can overclock to 4.5 gigahertz, no prob. You just need to get like an air cooler or something like that, and you're good. The reason why I went with the i5 versus the i7 was because it saves you $100. For gaming, really all you need is the i5. You don't need the features like hyper-threading and stuff like that. You get the i7. We saved that $100 and we could put that $100 towards a GPU. So really, get a shitty GPU and an i7, or you can get a really good GPU and an i5. That's really your trade-off there, and you get roughly the same performance. So that's why I went with the i5. Next we're going to be talking about the GPU, guys. So we specifically picked out this Twin Frozr III for one purpose, to make sure that you didn't need to upgrade in the future. So opposed to cheaping out and saving like $80, you might need to upgrade that GPU in like a year, 18 months or something like that. While with this one, fessing up that extra $80, this one's going to be really current for the next 2 years at least. And then after that, you're going to be able to overclock, and because it's 320-bit, it's going to remain current with its other competitors 2 years from now. And it's going to be a great card for that period of time. That's why we picked it. It's 320-bit, meaning that it can move packages more effectively than a 256-bit card. And also because it runs 20 degrees below most of the competition, you can overclock it in order to run at around the same temperature, but you're getting much higher clock speeds. So that's pretty much why we picked out this card. If you guys feel free, I'm always going to suggest this, as far as graphics cards are concerned, there's no better graphics cards. There's different levels that you can get a 560, and then a 570 is better than the 560, and then a 580 is better than 570, and a 590 is better than all of those. But between AMD and NVIDIA, and between different cards for different games, you can't really effectively say that one card trumps every other card. So I highly suggest that you guys go look at benchmarks for the games that you will be playing on this computer, and make sure that you're getting the performance that you want for the games that you're going to be playing. Just suggested that. After that, there's really not a lot that I can talk about. Drives are drives, RAM is RAM. Like, really the only thing I look for in RAM is aesthetics and the fact that it's a 4GB DIMM. I won't get a 2GB DIMM or a 1GB DIMM simply because it's wasting a spot. It's wasting a DIMM slot on your motherboard. Like, there's no point in going that low. Spending a little bit extra, and then be able to get 16 RAMs in the future, be able to get 24 gigs of RAM in the future if you feel like upgrading. Getting past that again. Power supply, really not a lot I can talk about. It's a power supply, 600 watts, going to do what you need it to do. You're probably going to be able to SLI if you want in the future, or Crossfire, depending on where you go with the GPU. And then finally the case. The case is a really great case, big CPU cutout, so you got lots of wiggle room when you're using those aftermarket heatsinks. You got lots of fans, one behind the motherboard, one in front of the motherboard, one in the top of the case, one in the back of the case, 2 in the front of the case. Lots of cooling and whatnot. Don't have to worry about that. You got 6 drive bays, 3 5.25-inch bays, like I said earlier. Great case. And now let's finally get on to the last part of this video. And that's going to be telling you guys whether this PC is good for you. If you're the type of person that wants to spend $2,000 to $3,000 on a computer and then be done with it for the next 5 to 10 years, and then 5 to 10 years down the road you buy a brand new $2,000 to $3,000 computer, then this probably isn't for you. But if you want to get a computer, if you're interested in computers, if you're interested in looking into what processors do and what's a good one, what's a bad one, what works for you, what doesn't, and all that kind of stuff, you're interested in building your own computer and really really building it, not just buying the parts and putting them together, but just being interested in it in general, then this is the computer for you. Not only is this computer going to beast freaking any game you throw at it for at least the next 2 years, it's going to be a great stepping stone for you to evolve as a computer builder type person, I guess. Somebody that's generally interested in computers. With an i5 2500K, if a year from now you find that it's running a little bit slow for you, slap a $30 Hyper 212 on there and you can overclock it to 4.5 gigahertz. Or even 4.8 at some point, so you get a whole gigahertz jump on top of the turbo boost. From there, if you feel like that maybe you need a little bit more RAM because new games that are coming out have super high quality texture packs, throw another DIMM of RAM in there. There, you get 12 gigs, 16 gigs, 24 gigs if you want. And it's all relatively low costing. If you find that you want to record some YouTube videos and whatnot, and you want to start uploading to YouTube, you can throw in another terabyte hard drive for you to record fraps onto, and that'll work just fantastically. If you want to do pretty much anything, if you want to upgrade your, if you want to upgrade the GPU on this, like I said, this whole computer was built around the GPU, but that doesn't mean you can't upgrade. You can simply take that GPU, and because it's still competitive with the other people, you can take that GPU and sell it for roughly the same price that you're buying it for. Because really, it's not really losing any of that allure, any of that beastiness, because that thing's going to be good for the next few years. So if you want to sell that, you go sell that, buy a new 7000 series, buy a new 600 series, and then from there you can upgrade like your CPU. You can upgrade just your CPU, stick in an Ivy bridge in there, and then a few months down the road when you get enough money for a Z77 chipset, then you throw that on there and you're good. There's a whole bunch, there's a multitude, there's a smorgasbord of things that you can do with this computer, and that's why I love this specific build, and that's why I decided to do it for my first build. But anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy. It was really fun for me to do this anyway, even though it took like 24 takes for me to get this one right. But anyway, hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully you guys remember rate the video if you guys did enjoy it. Remember to subscribe if you guys want more videos like this. I'm the Doctor, and I'm out. Peace.